A lot to unpack here, but it's like the best unpacking of all time. So Pinot Noir, Santa Rita Hills. First of all, we're huge fans of Santa Rita Hills. Santa Rita Hills is maybe my favorite spot for Pinot Noir in California. Sorry, SLH. And Russian River Valley, I'm like, sorry, not sorry, because half the wines that you sell, I don't have access to anyway, so kind of forget you, Russian River Valley, like until you show me like some really cool wines. You know what I'm saying? Like, for the money, what I'm tasting right now, Santa Rita Hills is the bomb. Now, like I said, there's a lot to unpack here. Let's start with the people behind this project. This is a very exciting project. This is Etienne de Montiel from Domaine de Montiel in Pommard in Burgundy, along with his winemaker, his right hand, Brian Seavey. Together, they decided, okay, what are we gonna do here? We want to make a wine in California, but we want to make a Burgundian style wine in California. Where do we go? And they didn't think Russian River Valley, they didn't think True Sonoma Coast, they didn't think SLH. They ended up in the Santa Rita Hills. And I think it's a great thing that they did. Santa Rita Hills is a fascinating place. For those of you that aren't too familiar with the Santa Rita Hills, which is, you know, that the beautiful Pinot Noir growing area west of Santa Barbara, it is a transverse valley. For some of you that may not be familiar, like, you know, Napa, Sonoma, they run north-south with the mountain ranges and this sort of deal. Transverse means this valley runs east-west. So the oceanic flow, the water, the cooling that comes from the water from the Pacific Ocean comes straight into this valley and then slowly dissipates as it heads east. Meaning you have a number of great terroirs based on climate conditions within one valley, okay? This is pretty interesting. It's a bit like the Napa Valley, where Calistoga is super hot up top, but on the south side of the valley, you almost have Carneros and Coombsville, and it's super cool. It's the same thing, but it's east-west here, which makes for a fabulous mishmash of vineyards. And I think when Etienne and Brian got together and said, we're gonna do this, they took this valley into consideration. And they already knew a bunch of cool people. They knew Justin Willett, who helped them make the wine, this first release. And, you know, they know guys like Raj Parr, and they know all these cool kids in the Santa Rita Hills. So these cats were pretty dialed in. On top of that, they hooked up with Rodolphe Peter, from Domaine Pierre, I say Domaine, it's Pierre Peter, the Champagne House in Le Mesnil. And because Pierre Rodolphe wanted to do sparkling wine, and they're like, okay, we do sparkling wine too, but maybe you can talk to us about this other stuff. So you have this like, this power trio, along with Justin Willett at the time. I don't know if he's part of the project anymore, the memory serves, don't quote me on that. But for this wine, he was definitely part of it, getting together and making fabulous Pinot Noir in the classic Burgundian style. And I can't emphasize enough, a lot of people play Burgundy and they want to be Burgundy, but to be Burgundy, you have to be Burgundian, you have to know Burgundy, you have to know the ins and outs, you have to know the vineyards, you have to know the vinification styles. And a cat like Etienne de Montiel is really dialed in to how these wines are produced. So we have the Racines wine 2019 Santa Rita Hills Cuvée. This wine comes from a number of superstar named vineyards: La Encantada, Rinconada, La Mesa. There's more rockstar sites in this wine. All the rockstar sites in the Santa Rita Hills, most of them found their way into this particular bottling. 50% whole cluster. And you know, this wine took me in the Wayback Machine. Okay, so for some of you old heads, some of you OGs that have been shopping with us a long time, you might remember some of those Mountford wines from New Zealand, produced by the great C.P. Lynn, the blind winemaker that did everything by just aroma, taste. There was nothing visual, obviously, based on how he was conducting his business. And I get the same feel out of this wine as I do those great C.P. Lynn Pinot Noirs at Mountford in New Zealand. This is astoundingly beautiful wine that, it was good before. First time we tasted it, it was like, damn, this is good, we want to do this deal. And then I took a bottle home like a week ago, and you know, without getting into it, you know, my wife was really blown away by this wine. And usually she's just like drinking wine with me, and she's not like an aficionado or like hardcore into it or whatever, but I just remember like looking over glass empty, I'm like, damn girl. And she was like, I like this wine very much. I'm like, You know what? You're right. This is beautiful, gorgeous, silky, refined, elegant, spicy, salty Pinot Noir, man. Like, if Pinot Noir is your thing, like, this is your wine. It's really, really exquisite. The texture here. We have kind of like Etienne, he's based in Pommard, but this wine doesn't have the rusticity of Pommard. It has the silkiness of Vosne Romanée, but with a Santa Rita Hills kind of Tyler-esque mojo to it. What a complete bottle of Pinot Noir. One of the finest, kind of most shimmering Pinot Noirs I've had this year. Just absolutely stunning, beautiful wine. 50% whole cluster here, so there is quite a bit of whole cluster, but not a lot of new oak. And the deal here is just to produce a classic French-inspired Pinot Noir from top-notch vineyards in the Santa Rita Hills, and boy did he succeed. You know, it's one of those wines that, you know, we carry a lot of Pinot Noirs in our set. We got a lot of great Pinot Noir, but I can't think of a Pinot Noir I would gravitate towards first, you know, for the holidays and beyond, than this bottle right now and the place that it's in. And I know it got some funny reviews early on, like the 2019 early on, right when it was first released. You know, some of the cats were like, you know, it's a little taut. There's some tension here, et cetera, et cetera. Shine that, bro. Those reviews from 2 years ago, shine them. Like, it's not even pertinent to what this wine tastes like now. This is just, when you think of great whole cluster Pinot Noir, and I'm not gonna throw the friggin', okay, I will. I mean, the weenie names, like, you know, the Dujacs, DRCs, et cetera. There's a reason they do whole cluster, and they do it successfully. And Etienne de Montiel and Brian Seavey, they know this. And Justin has a good feel for it as well. So when you got pros working the great vineyards that know how the great wines are made, producing wine, how about a little faith, man? And 2 years later, I think this wine caught 90 points 2 years ago. That's a mockery. I mean, this is, if you tasted this wine now, put it in a tasting with other Pinot Noirs of the same quality, same price, this wine would be like 94, 95 points. I mean, this is like beautiful, beautiful wine, and actually quite different than a lot of the other Santa Rita Hills Pinot Noirs we've encountered. Shockingly enough, this is a unique, distinctive wine. So, and now for the best part, always the best part, huh? Always the close. We have, they sold this for $60 on their site, right? Which was pretty ambitious for just a Santa Rita Hills cuvee, a blended Pinot Noir, even though it was all Grand Cru vineyards in this wine. I think they kind of figured that out. So basically we're rolling it today at $39.98, so $40 for $60 Pinot Noir that already over delivers, 10% off, 6 bottles or more. Just a resounding, beautiful, beautiful deal on a Pinot Noir. Look at that color, man. This is, when I think Pinot Noir, this is the jam. Kudos to the boys, man. Bravo. This is like serious gear. Yum.